Julie Van Ullen is joining us. She is Chief Revenue Officer at Rakuten Rewards. Now, Rakuten Rewards, I'm thinking of cashback, I'm thinking of coupons, I'm thinking, though, of you being able to track consumer sentiment as it stands online in particular. And Julie, is the consumer as resilient as it was this time last year when it comes to e-commerce purchasing?
It's a great question. And first, it was a massive holiday season, especially for brands like us who cultivate great loyalty via incentives, rewards, discounts, coupons. But unlike the last couple of holiday shopping seasons, we had to wait until the very last minute to see those consumer dollars flow through, which is obviously a scary moment when you consider how much spend flows through Q4 normally. Last couple of years, shopping really started in October, November. In earnest, this year, it really started on Cyber Week, which we kind of anticipated would happen and luckily did happen, knowing that consumers would likely be waiting for the best possible deals. But what I will say is particularly interesting is that because consumers waited, there was a lot of pent-up demand that rolled into December. But that made it quite hard for many retailers and brands to sustain that sort of promotional activity through end of year. So some were smart with their budgets, some less smart, and it did really create some winners and losers.
Okay, let's talk about the winners. Who won?
From a category standpoint, I would say there are some interesting things. Travel really did quite well, ostensibly because consumers were waiting for the best deals on high price point purchases. We thought electronics would be a big winner. Not so much. They did start to come back a little bit in December, but given those are discretionary purchases, we did think that those dollars would wait for the big deals to occur. Apparel was another one that wasn't so super, ostensibly again, because that's a bit discretionary. People aren't gifting apparel as much. It's more something for yourself that you might want and not need. On the other hand, we saw incredible growth coming out of department stores, marketplaces, footwear, toys. So really, apparel and electronics was the only two that were a tad lackluster, I'll say.
Well, against my better judgment, Caroline, I bought an Xbox for one of my offspring, and I did it begrudgingly, but he had earned it. He had a pretty good year. All right, so Julie, I mean, how do we feel about the consumer here? Because I'm not sure how the consumer is paying for all this stuff. What are the retailers telling you about credit and that type of thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, we see consumers spending, right? You know, you just listed the stats for us there. But I think we have to remember that consumers are spending, but they're looking for the best value. But that's really putting brand loyalty into question. So you see a lot of retailers and brands really scrambling to try to figure out what does this mean for how they retain shoppers going forward. And while there are certainly signs of inflation cooling, I think that there are many facets of our current economy, political landscape, a lot going to be happening in the next year that's going to mean that consumers are still very, very value driven. Which is going to create a challenge, a juxtaposition, if you will, for retailers who I think at the beginning of the year, you're going to hear a lot of retailers looking to return to health, which is going to mean they're looking for better profit margins coming out of a very competitive, high promotional Q4.
Well, that's kind of where I want to go, Julie. I mean, I hear a lot about consumers seeking value and promotions and things. So what does that mean for the retailers' margins?
It's a challenge, right? They usually are used to having to give quite a lot away in Q4, and then come Q1, there's an ability to recoup those healthy margins. And that's even more important now coming off of COVID, when loyalty really was in question, and consumer and retailers have been spending to earn back shoppers for the last couple of years. So this return to health is important. And there are a couple of things that they can do to meet a shopper where they are while still offering incentives. Things like cashback. Cashback is a great lever for allowing a retailer to charge regular price, but create an incentive for a shopper. And even though I know you said you didn't go in store too much to shop this holiday season, That is a big and growing arena, especially for younger shoppers.
Yep.
So another area that retailers can think to invest is in incentivizing things like buy online, pick up in store, where they can give an incentive there, but drive consumers to shop where they know that they'll get additional purchases once those consumers are in the store.